How do you avoid choosing a crappy real estate agent? We're going to give you tips and tricks to be
Oh.
able to fix that. Also, what are mortgage rates going right now? Because that's impacting our market. So we're going to talk about that.
And let's talk about rent versus buying. What do the numbers tells us? Welcome to Max One Update. My name is Ming Richardson, part of Max One team.
My name's Alan Rich. I'm also part of Max One team. I want to jump right into why do folks choose bad real estate agents? And so there's a recent study which shared out there that half of all consumers just choose the first agent that they talk to. And you got to understand that for a lot of real estate folks, that's what they focus on. They focus on,
Being a first appointment.
yeah, first appointment, first contact, first meeting, and as a real estate professional, we realize that that is important. But as a consumer, what's really important to you, right? See, because when folks start thinking about a real estate agent, they think, who do I know, instead of,
Who will do the best job for me?
yeah, that's the big thing, right? They aren't putting that connection in there. And so, as long as that happens, as long as people are just thinking about who do I know instead of who's going to do an amazing job, then really great agents, really great teams, great brokerages are going to miss out, and goobers are going to get more business. And so,
Yep.
like for a lot of our consumers, right? They're very worried about, probably one of the biggest things is my agent going to charge too high of a compensation of a commission rate? And as being inside the industry, I can tell you that compensation is value based and should be value based. If you as a buyer or a seller is only worried about compensation, all you want is to negate that.
You may miss some points here.
Well, you're going to miss out big time, because uh, take our for sale by owner folks, for example. The average for sale by owner sells for $95,000 less than than for agent assisted sales. And so when you look at it, yes, they did accomplish their goal of paying less compensation.
But at the end of the
They
day, they
lost a lot. Well,
actually
yeah.
lost a lot in that percentage. And so we do have a lot of what we call a third party purchaser right now, investor. They aim at distressed property as well as folks that do not know their market value. So those are the for sale by owner folks. And this is what talking about. That's what we're talking about actually, is that they'll go in there with a long term contract and purchase a property. In the meantime, you give them full permission to advertise your property on MLS, because at MLS they can get more.
Well, but that's not really what I'm talking about, if I'm being real honest with you, because what I'm
We
talking
are.
about is that when you're choosing a real estate professional, if all you're trying to do is cut compensation, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot, because you know what? Good agents are worth their value. Good agents bring a lot of value to the table. And so, whether you're for sale by owner, whether you're a first time buyer, that kind of stuff, a good agent's going to provide a lot of value for you, right?
Correct.
And so, it's not about just like, hey, because if you want to find the person who's going to do the cheapest, I just,
The old
that's
saying, you're going to get what you pay for.
it really does kind of work right there. Because uh, I mean, our consumers really do have a lot of interest out there. See, have a lot going on, especially in the whole buying and selling process. But like in this same study, only 4% of consumers were actually worried about hiring
A
a
bad
bad agent.
agent.
And we're in the industry, and I think the vast majority of agents are really hardworking. They're going to do
Absolutely.
their best to be able to provide you with amazing service and provide a lot of value for you. But it's not every single one. And so if you just take the first person that you bump into and you don't have any kind of criteria and what you're looking for from an agent and those kind of things, like I think that there's a huge opportunity. But like for our consumers, just like what should you look for in a great real estate agent?
One, an agent with strong communication skill.
Yeah, they
Okay.
got to be able to talk to you and keep you informed, and they should send you text messages and emails and call you and talk to you, that kind of stuff.
And also, they know their local market
Oh,
as well.
absolutely. They have to. I mean, real estate still. I mean, the whole location
It
thing.
makes a
It
difference.
really does, and so great agents know their local market on here.
And the one that's going to treat you with integrity and honesty, because they're not going to look at what is it in for them, but what is it that you want that we can accomplish at the same time.
Yeah, honesty and integrity is just so crucial for real estate agents, because the number one reason why someone chooses a real estate agent normally is trust, right? Another place where your agent should really excel is,
Negotiation skills. So if they can't even negotiate the compensation with you, what makes you think that they can negotiate your sale
Mhm.
price with the other party?
Yeah, a great agent should also be excellent problem solver. There, in a lot of real estate transactions, it is not just about price. There's a lot of things that go into consider that are taken into consideration in a real estate transaction. So, being really creative problem solvers that still gets you to where you want to be, instead of just throwing their hands up and being, oh well, this is hard. It is hard, but you have to be really, really creative on there.
And attention to detail.
Oh, big time.
So they need to be detail oriented to know that these are going to be issues and make recommendations and to avoid any pitfalls.
Well, we know that buyers and sellers, they don't know contracts. The real estate agents, they should know their
They should
contracts
know.
really, really well. They're in charge of protecting your earnest money in a lot of cases, and really making sure that attention to detail is crucial. Great real estate agents also are
Patient.
very patient, right?
So they don't try to get a deal done just because they need to fulfill their obligation, financial obligation. They should be listening to you and understand what your timeline is, and therefore coordinate that with what your needs are.
Yeah. Next thing is your agent should be competent with technology. I'm not saying that they have to be Bill Gates or
Or
Zuckerberg
savvy
kind
or
of thing,
know every
right?
single apps out there that is available.
But they do need to be competent. There is a lot of technology that will make your experience working with them way better on there. But the bottom line here is all, I mean, like probably one of the biggest ones I think that we
It's
say, but
client centric. What or not, they're looking out for your best interest at the end of the day.
they have to put like your needs, your wants, your desires, those have to be first and foremost. Has to be what's right for you as the buyer or seller, not what's right for the agent. And so those are the ones who are the most successful agents out there.
Yep. And also at the same time, they did a study, and this is nationwide. This
Yeah.
is not just Georgia or Alabama or what have you. This is nationwide data. Believe it or not, only 57% of the client will fire their agent because the agent has stolen from them. You guys, that should be
You should
100%.
have really high standards for your agents, right? And so when asking folks why would you fire your agents, generally speaking, about half of them, half of consumers will fire their agent if they put pressure on me to buy or sell
Hmm.
on that. If they don't represent me, if they don't negotiate for me, if they don't market my property on there. But another one is if you're rude to me. So what we're
Right.
saying is like we really think that you should have very high standards in dealing with your real estate agent. We think that it needs to start early on instead of it like right now the big trend is you go with the first person you work with, and they may be an absolutely great wonderful agent that you should work with. I'm not saying don't go with the first one. I'm saying interview them, talk to them, get a sense of do they know really what they're talking about. It's crucial for you and for the average consumer, whether it's your first house or your fifth house, it's your most expensive asset
Well, not
you've
only
ever
that,
had.
the market change always. And when I say market, the environment, how seller and buyer are behaving, those things changes constantly. You really need to know someone that understand the market so they can better negotiate with you versus thinking the market was what it was 10 years ago.
Well, and speaking of that, one thing we're seeing right now is mortgage rates are
Hmm.
continuing to
That's a
fall.
good thing.
I mean, right now mortgage rates are they're hovering near the 6.5 range kind of thing. It's
Not
like
quite,
6.6. I mean,
just
it's
a little
getting there.
bit.
It's working its way there. And so right now, there's been a lot of polling between different groups. Whether you're talking about real estate agents, mortgage industry, home builders, construction, that kind of stuff. Most all those different business types are all looking at rates being between 6 and 6.5 as we move into 2025. We kind of think it's going to be there too. Investors and landlords think it may be a little bit higher, but like here's the deal: it is where it is right now, and still life goes on. We know that the more that rates go down, the more people jump into the market,
Correct.
and that's really what we're seeing right now because mortgage demand has shot up recently, and so
20%.
when we normally see mortgage demand go up, then we see showings increase, and then we see properties get sold at a higher rate, and then guess what we see happen then? We see prices go up. And so we're heading into that spring market, and we don't want to be that person that's always like, hey, you got to be in the, you got to do this right now. But I also don't want to be the person who wasn't like preparing you to know what's really happening in our market.
Right.
We're seeing where good properties priced right are selling quickly on
And
here.
that's the key.
Because right now, I mean, this is just the state of where we're at. Mortgage applications are up 37% from the beginning of the year. Showing time, which is what real estate agents use to schedule our showings, it's up about 13%
So
from the
that's
beginning of the
huge.
year. So
Yeah.
there is a lot more activity going on into our market. Now, one place where we want to take just a moment and talk about what's happening with
Rental rates versus mortgage rate.
yeah, and see, some new numbers just came out about what's happened with rent prices, and nationwide rent prices have been down, and even here in Georgia, in Georgia in particular, rents are down about 1.8%, negative 1.8%.
So what that means is that you probably can rent cheaper right now than you can buy. But the negative on that is you're talking about short-term gain versus a long-term gain.
Well,
So
I mean,
explain that,
I
Alan.
mean, like wealth comes from home ownership. You know, the average renter's net worth is around $10,400. The average net worth for a homeowner is almost $400,000. And see, like some folks will look at this and say, well, right now it's a little bit cheaper to rent, and we aren't disputing that at all.
No.
But if you like let's pull back and look at this. Oh, say for the last 5 years, and you say, okay, if I was a homeowner, what have property values done
In the last five
in the
years.
last? And so if you just look here in Georgia, and so in Georgia, in Atlanta, in the Atlanta MSA, property values here over the last 5 years since 2020 have appreciated at almost 54%. 54% property value appreciation, which means if you had a $200,000 house, now that house is worth $300,000. Just rounding it up, that kind of stuff. Now, at that same time, if you said, you know what, rents are staying down, rents are good, well, guess what? They haven't been staying down.
Yeah.
During that same 5 year period, rents are up 36%.
Well, you can rent about $1,100,
Well,
$1,200. Now the minimum's $2,000
so I guess what
on
we're
the
saying,
average
yeah,
of 3.2.
like you can easily look and say, okay, rents are down 1%. We're going to take that, and I think you know what, if you're going to do that and save for a down payment, I'm all for it. But understand that property values continue to go up. As property values go up, rents are going to continue to go up, and like you can say I don't want to pay 6.5% mortgage rate. Well, guess what, on a rental the interest rate's 100%, right? Because you're not getting any of that back. You're not building any equity. You're not building any wealth in that. Matter of fact, you're going to keep paying more and more and
Somebody
more.
else's wealth.
Yeah, exactly. So we would love to help. So please call, text, smoke signals, whatever we can do to assist you here.
Visit us at max1partners.com. I apologize. That was max1partners.com, or call us at 678-782-5050. Ask for the Maximum One team.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.
Have a great day.